Good morning, kids. Today is Palm Sunday. It's a really special day. But before we talk about what that means, I want you to think of that moment in a superhero action movie where there's a person clinging to a wall, crying out for help, about to fall off, and just their hands are starting to slip and they can barely hold on. And what happens in the movies? In comes a superhero, maybe like Spider-Man, swinging across the screen, and they scoop up the person from the edge of the building and pull that ship back together, or that train, and they save the day. Well, Palm Sunday is a time where the Israelite people were crying out to be saved. You might remember way back that the Egyptians had taken the Israelites as slaves and they had oppressed them, and that God had sent Moses to convince Pharaoh to let his people go. And one of the ways that God commanded that the Israelites celebrate or have a holiday or party to remember what God had done was to make little tents or like shelters or structures or booths, and they would wave palm branches at that festival, and they would celebrate that God was their rescuer. So now they find themselves under the oppression again of the mean Romans. And so they begin to see Jesus, and he is making blind people see, deaf people hear, and people whose legs don't work, lame people, they're walking. So as Jesus approaches their capital city, they know what to say. They cry, Hosanna, Hosanna, which means, save us, be our king. We want you to be our king. We don't like those mean Romans. And they wave palm branches because they're crying out for a deliverer, for someone to rescue them. And they welcome Jesus as king. And the rest of the week will turn very differently. Many people will turn against him. Jesus will willingly submit to God's plan and allow himself to pay the ultimate price. But 3 days later, we will celebrate his victory over death. So I hope to actually see you next week.